Hey guys, welcome back to Background Noise Besties. I'm Kendall and this is my bestie.
Natalie.
And today we have a juicy one for you.
Very.
Very. Today we are going to, the theme is forgive or forget. So it's kind of a play on the words like forgive and forget. Except this time you're either going to forgive them or you're going to forget them. Not both. Can't have both.
No.
Everyone's worth forgiving and then forgetting. And so today our background theme is courtrooms. Natalie, would you like to explain yours first?
That famous meme from Couples Court where she just kind of like and she freezes. So there we go. I don't really remember what it is, but she's there.
Yeah, I've never seen that meme before. Yeah.
Wow.
Sorry. Mine is Judge Judy, and it says, it's Judge Judy's face, and it says, you say no, I say yes, I win, I'm the judge, goodbye. And so we decided to do courtroom backgrounds because today we're the judge of should they be forgiven, should they be forgotten?
Yeah, and like every other instance, our answer is the correct one. If you disagree, that's too bad.
Stop listening. I mean, come on, give us a like and stop listening.
At least share it with your entire like support system and your friends, and then stop listening.
Okay. So the stories we'll be reading, I don't even think I said that. Apologies. The stories we'll be reading are Reddit stories. Okay. Do you want to go first, Natalie?
Sure. I don't know which one to tell you first, though.
You want me to go first then? Because I have to.
Well, what are you more in the mood for? Because I've got that one that's, am I the asshole? I don't think I'm going to do that one, actually. And then, I've got sex and relationship advice.
Well, you already said you're not going to do the am I the asshole one, so choose one of the other ones.
Here. We'll do sex because the other ones are kind of long / longer. So this first one is titled, I, 41 male, haven't had sex with my wife, 39 female, for 3 years.
I thought you were about to say ever. I thought you were about to say
for years. I don't know if I can take it anymore. So it says, I've been married to my wife for 12 years and overall it's been a happy marriage. We don't fight much, share 2 sons, 9 and 7, have an active social life, are financially stable, own our home, and generally have a peaceful, happy home life. A big issue in our relationship is sex, or rather, lack of it. When we were dating, I always initiated sex, but she was engaged, and it was never a cold, one-sided thing. After we got married, I started hearing not now a lot more often. Sex boiled down to maybe once a month, and she was completely disinterested in doing more than missionary position in our dark bedroom. Over the years, I've tried so many things. Toys, dirty talk, role-playing, couples therapy, doctor's visits. Nothing has helped for long. On top of that, she hugs and kisses and is physically affectionate with the kids, but never with me. She always insists she loves me and values my happiness, but I feel like my physical needs have been completely disregarded. Her love language is words of affirmation, and I try very hard to engage with her that way. Mine is physical touch, and she doesn't seem to care enough to even try. The last time we had sex, it felt like I was laying on top of a sex doll. She didn't touch me, she didn't moan, she didn't do anything but lay there and let me fuck her. I tried to go down on her, and she said, "Can you please just finish up?" It was the coldest, most disgusting sexual experience of my life. I never tried again. I feel so damn lonely. I just want to be held and to experience a physical connection with someone. I'm still a younger man. I have a lot of life left. I could find someone who wants me like I want them. I love my wife, but it feels like I do so out of obligation. I don't want to get divorced. I don't want to break up my family, but she won't even try, and an open marriage has been rejected. I guess I wanted to see if anyone else had experienced this. The other day at the gym, my trainer gave me a quick hug at the end of our session, and I'm ashamed to say I jerked off to thoughts of it. A hug from an attractive woman was all it took. I feel like shit about myself. And then there is an update for that, but that's
Listen, I thought he was going to say I got a hug, and honestly, it was the first time I felt like someone cared about me, but it went the opposite way, and in a way I did not like at all.
Right. So what are your thoughts on this? What?
So did he say in that long list of things he tried that they went to therapy?
Yes, couples therapy.
See, that was going to be my advice, to go to couples therapy, like sex therapy in specific, like a sex therapist.
Mm-hmm.
And see, the thing is, she's giving affection to the kids. It's not that she doesn't want to be touched or to be affectionate to anybody.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost how old did they say her kids were?
9 and 7.
I was gonna say it's almost like I thought they were younger. I was gonna say it's almost like she was just using it for pregnancy things, and that's like, oh my gosh, I don't understand that. The thing it's sad to me that he was like he just doesn't feel loved like that, and that he was like he's trying hard to engage with her with words of affirmation because he knows that's her love language, and yet she's not even giving any effort. So I wonder if he's said to her, I'm sure he has with therapy and stuff, said like, hey, like I feel like I try really hard to meet your love language needs, like I feel like my love language needs are not being met by you. I'm sure he has, but that's one thing I would say to her.
Right.
And it's like even willing to she said no to an open marriage, so that's not even like I don't know, because what do you think? I'm like, sorry, this is not entertaining. I'm baffled.
No, I know, and it's 3 years. Like I can understand not being in the mood and maybe needing some time, but 3 years for what, they're married. Yes. This life partner. So
because everyone goes up and down. Like there's times in everyone's life where they have a really high sex drive, and then there will be times where they have a really low sex drive, and sometimes that doesn't match up with your partner, and that's fine, but eventually you'll both get up to a point where it does match up. And so my thing is, why would she even agree to have sex with him that last time if she was not going to engage? Just lay still and then tell him, can you just finish up, please? When he tried to give her pleasure back, it's not like it's from me. It sounds like he's not trying to be selfish. He's trying to
he's actually doing his part in meeting her needs or trying to meet her needs. And I think, he said that they used to be, like when they were dating, that it was never cold or one-sided. Like they were both into it. So after they got married is when it changed, Right. And so she has not addressed her needs or like her sex drive, I guess, her like what if she want to, but he should have known ahead of time, like it's, you can't just say, or like, that's not what I'm trying to say. You can't just like kind of switch it up on them without expressing how you feel about it.
Right. Or I wonder if he didn't really say, but if the time she has brought it up to her, she's gotten defensive, or she's tried to explain, or she's just, like brushed him off. Because my thing is, I know I'm thinking like females go through a lot. Like, did 3 years ago her birth control change, or because birth control can affect sex drive? There's just a lot. Like, does she have something mentally going on? Like, is she depressed? Is she anxious? Or maybe she doesn't have a high sex drive because he didn't elaborate on any of this, but maybe she's a stay-at-home mom and he doesn't help clean or cook at all, and so she's like lost that affection for him because he's not doing his part as a domestic partner. But then the way he just talks about trying to meet her needs with like a love language and like trying to give her some pleasure, it seems like he would, but then you don't know. So.
And what I just reread that I was confused about, because I'm like, I wonder how long they've been together, like married together. They've been married for 12 years. So 12 years they were married. before that, they were dating for who knows how long. So something had to have changed that was not addressed. And this is the result. And there is an update if you...
Oh, yes, because my thing is I would, before I decide to forgive or forget her, I would, because initially my thing is, I'm leaning toward forgive, but like talk to her and like report back to us. Because I have to know, because like maybe she's having an affair and so she really doesn't want to have sex with him. Because then if that's the truth, that she's having an affair, then forget. But then forgive if it's like maybe she's depressed and that's why. Or I still think it's unfair that even if she is depressed and that's causing it, or it's her birth control,
well, yeah, or
she's not communicating that to him.
Right. And I was thinking too, even if she decided like, you know what, I don't really like sex, maybe she's asexual, you know, she doesn't want that part of it, then again, it's still her responsibility to express that to her husband.
Right. And you'd think she would, the non-selfish thing to do, it seems, would be like if she decided she is asexual, to kind of, because I don't know, like maybe have an open marriage. I could never do that, ever, ever, ever. I don't share. I could not do that. But maybe for them, if that's what you decide after, because it's not like when you were dating, you decided that. It's after you were married.
Right. It was, here's, the comments were kind of, anyway, this is the update. It says, this morning I went to hug my wife. She's working from home today, so I'll be seeing her all day. I just wanted to feel her in my arms. She basically patted me once on the back, then pulled away and went back to making her cup of coffee. I felt unbelievably rejected, and it was kind of the final straw for me. I wrote this post and have spent the last few hours reading through comments of people telling me it was done. I realized they're right, that it's been done for a long time, and I've been holding on to something that's dead. I love this woman. I'll probably always love her, but that thing that existed between us, which made me want to get married in the first place, has been suffocated by years of passive neglect and dismissal. I genuinely never thought I would be saying this, but I'm going to ask for a divorce. And that's the last update that has occurred.
I want to know why. I want to know why.
Listen, first comment says, it's so common. If you asked her outright, why don't we have sex anymore? What does she say? And he responded, he said, she gets very defensive, saying how hard her work life is. And then in parentheses, she's an attorney, how the kids have been stressing her out lately. Usually there's something like, is everything I do for you and our family not good enough?
He says that to her?
She says that to him.
Oh. Okay. See, before that part, I was like, I sympathize. Like, she's just overwhelmed with her life. But then she said that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then,
yeah, you might be taking care of the kids and having a job and cleaning the house, but you still have to make time to show affection to your partner. I say forget because of that.
I do too, because it's like, that's not how you go about things, you know, like there's just so much you could do to effectively communicate with someone and not just immediately be like, oh, this is everything that I do isn't good enough? Is that why you're asking me why I don't want to have sex?
Like, no, it's not good enough because I don't feel loved by you. So you're right. No, it's not enough.
And I wanted to see if there was like another update, you know.
Any other comments?
No, because I was trying to see if he had like said anything like, oh yeah, I talked to her about wanting to get a divorce. The last thing that they responded was, who did he respond to? Okay, well, it doesn't say, but the last thing he said was, and this was 16 days ago, this has been addressed. My wife works 60 hours a week. I work 49. I take on the majority of the household duties with the exception of cooking, which nobody wants me to do, and kid homework / driving to activities, supervision. Frankly, if it was a woman making this post, nobody would be asking her, what do you do around the house to help your husband and children? I am her partner, not an extra kid.
That's true. He kind of popped off with that.
And no, he really did.
Oh wait, I kind of like him except for the part about the masturbating to that hug.
Yeah.
You know? But other than that, yeah, he makes a fair point. If it was a female writing that, they wouldn't have said, "What are you doing?"
Yeah.
You know?
What are you your husband around the house? No, that's very true. Honestly, like forget her. I think he really I know he said he was gonna like get a divorce, but I definitely think that is
I agree. That's the best option. Okay. This is mine. Should I forgive my brother for my mom's sake, even though he's hurt me a lot? Context number 1. I, 35 male, don't like my brother, 28 male. He thinks it's because his opinions are too, quote, edgy. I know it's because he's unlikable. I'm sorry. Yeah.
I mean, listen, do I really need to hear any more of this? That kind of set the tone for
Okay. We have some major disagreements. We grew up Christian. He's an atheist now. So he refuses to come to my children's baptism. He hates children. So instead of just not having them, he mentions constantly he won't babysit, which who would let him? Question mark. And once argued with my kid for 10 minutes over cupcakes. This is a 28-year-old man. Oh, God. Context number 2. There are 2 big arguments right now. The first is that our father is dying and needed help with his medical bills, a crisis, but the money we can solve. All his kids make 6 figures. There's 4 of us. Together, we can absolutely bring this bill down to a reasonable scope for my mom. Nope, he refuses to, quote, fund my father's unhealthy lifestyle. He had lung cancer and used to smoke. We begged him. He threatened, they begged the brother, is what he means. He threatened to go no contact. Mom made us back off. We're now helping pay off the debt. The second argument, everyone hates his wife, 26 female, because he somehow managed to find the only person more annoying than himself. She's been in a fight with my mom since he started bringing her around. They're constantly in fights about everything, to the point he cut my mom out of his wedding entirely. We all decided not to go. He said he would go no contact. Mom made us go, so she could still potentially see her son. So that's the context. The situation, we were all at a family gathering at my house. Everything's going nice until my brother's wife starts yelling again. To be fair, my mom was telling a story about my sister's kids, and she had said she finds those things annoying. To be fair, my mother literally only talks about like 5 things, and she hates all of them. My brother also starts yelling. My mom says he's ungrateful, and then his wife yells, what does he have to be grateful for? His money, hungry family, or his over-controlling mom who didn't let him do anything as a kid because she failed herself and her kid? Insert thing I can't put in here because of the censors that's much more explicit on the event. Then she storms out. For context, my mom went through something really traumatic in college. When I was a kid, the same thing happened to me, but this time for a period of time by a close personal friend of my mom's. She has never forgiven herself for it, and it's a thing I try to avoid as much as possible. I specifically wouldn't want his wife, who is known for leveraging people's trauma, to know. My mom started crying. I threw both of them out, ended the event. Then I cried in my wife's arms for the rest of the night. The next day, my brother called. I'm expecting an apology. Nope. He says I need to get our mother in line, quote, or he'll go no contact. I told him he should stop threatening it and just do it, then hung up the phone. I know my mother will be hurt by my decision, but I'm sick of him causing problems. But for her sake, should I try to forgive him?
I disagree. No. No. If he's threatening no contact so much, let him go no contact. Because it seems to me that he needs them more than they need him.
Yes.
Like he's saying, I'm gonna go no contact because he just wants people to do what he wants, but like, so do it. Like,
do it.
They're doing fine without you, buddy.
Right. Like, and his wife yelling at her mom because the mom's talking about her grandkids because she finds it annoying. What? Just leave the room.
And literally literally that's stuff that it's like, oh yeah, this person just kind of talks about this a lot, but it's fine because they're family, you know, like you just kind of talk. We all have that one family member that you're just like, yeah, and you just
or as soon as they start talking, oh, I got to go to the bathroom.
No, literally. It's like, oh, I really have to go to the bathroom right now. And then the conversation ends. Yeah, it's like that stuff. I forgot what else I was going to say, but that's so stupid. Oh, and then literally being terrified that your brother's wife is going to use your trauma against you.
Mm-hmm.
Get them out of your life.
Mm-hmm. And then saying he doesn't have anything to be grateful for. His family is money hungry because they asked him to help with his father's medical bills for his lung cancer treatment.
Huh? Weren't they all splitting it?
Yes.
Like, it's not like they were asking him to pay for everything. They were asking for him to pay for something equally for their father.
Right. And they were all making six figures. So come on, man. And then to say your mom you wouldn't let him do anything growing up because basically of your trauma. Like, I'm assuming it sounds like she got sexually assaulted and so did her son. Okay, yeah, I don't blame her for being a little cautious and letting him have sleepovers, or I'm assuming, I shouldn't assume, but I'm just like,
it's so stupid.
Because if she had been a little over controlling and something had happened to him, then now you'd be yelling at her for like, you didn't protect your son.
Exactly. Like, there would be something to complain about either way. Like, she's doing what she thinks is best for her child.
Yeah. And then for him to call his brother to call him and be like, you need to tell our mom to get in line.
Get in line. It's like, who do you think you are? Get in line for what? The conga? That better be the only thing she's getting in line for. Like, what in the world?
Heck, for an apology?
So stupid. Stupid. That is my forget them.
And for him to like have a 20-minute argument with a kid over a cupcake because he doesn't like kids. Get over yourself. Get over yourself. Just because you don't want kids, you don't like kids, doesn't mean you need to argue with a child.
A literal child
about over a
cupcake. Like, what in the world?
Okay, this is one comment. What's there to forgive when he and his toxic wife are remorseful sociopaths? Like, he left his father to die, hates kids, gave up on his state, has no plans of turning over a new leaf, just cut ties already. I don't agree with the religion thing.
Me neither. It's like, it doesn't, that's not, that was important into the, like, about the post. So
I agree with the left his father to die and has no plan to bring over a new leaf. And maybe the hates kids because the hating kids is causing him to argue with a child about a cupcake.
Right. It's like, I don't necessarily love children, but I'm not about to argue with one over a cupcake for 20 minutes.
Or yell at your mom because she's talking about someone's kids.
Exactly. This is where your social skills of, I'm pretending to be interested / I am pretending to care about this conversation comes into play.
Exactly.
You know how many conversations I've had with children that I really don't want to be having? Multiple. Oh yeah, that's so interesting. The same thing you do with that one family member that talks about that one topic.
That's so true. So one last comment. Your mom is going to be hurt regardless. If you do nothing, your brother and his wife will continue to treat the family like crap. If you go no contact with him and refuse to go to any family gatherings where he will attend, then he will still be causing the same amount of drama in the family, except there will be brother-free family gatherings where everyone can have a good time. Your mom is already hurting. One of her children has lost their way, but she deserves to have some positive family experiences with the kids who do love and cherish her. So start planning things without the brother. Explain to your mother that you want to do things without him for the time being, that you know it's harsh, but that we all deserve better than who he is at the moment. I think once she has a fun family afternoon without any drama, her mind will be changed for the better. maybe you and the other siblings can plan something as a surprise and just not include the brother at all. They go from there. That's true. That's solid advice.
Yep. And honestly, like, I think there's nothing but good that comes out of letting him go no contact. First of all, you make him think that he's the one with the idea that came up with going no contact, whereas everyone is kind of just waiting to see what happens, you know? Like, no one is like, oh man, I wish this brother were here so we could have a fight about this for the 20th time. Like, no.
This is forget.
100%.
Leave your brain free of this man.
So my next story says, I, 22 female, just found out how my parents, 62 male, 50 female, really met and I need help.
I'm scared.
So it says, basically what the title says. I'm back home for the week due to a national holiday, and I was going through some old photo albums. I found a picture of my mom aged around 8 to 10 and some dude who looked just like my dad. I took the picture to her and she confessed everything. The story they tell everyone is that they met when my mom was 18 and my dad 29 at a party hosted by a mutual acquaintance. They started dating. The look on your face. You know where this is going.
I'm doing the math real quick in my head. I'm just saying.
Hosted by a mutual acquaintance. They started dating a few months later, got married when my mom was 25, and had me 3 years later. I found out that my dad was the younger brother of a friend of my grandparents, the dude in the picture, and they actually knew each other since my mom was about 6 and my dad 18. They started dating when my mom turned 15, and because of that, her parents kicked her out of the house and cut contact with her. I'm so disgusted with everyone involved, but especially with my dad. How can I look him in the eye again, knowing he probably groomed my mom from a very young age? How do you even find someone you knew as a child attractive? Need advice. And there is an update for that, but I have to look that up. I think it's on their account anyway. Oh yeah, there it is. First thoughts.
As soon as she said my mom was sitting in the picture and I saw a man or male, maybe she said male, that looked like my dad, and she didn't mention the age, I knew it. And then when she's like, the story they tell them is they met when she was 18 and he was 29. I was doing the math real quick in my head.
You're like, nope.
I knew it. That's so gross.
I know.
Like, how do you look at your dad?
It's something, literally, that's what I'm saying. It's like, I could never, ever look at him the same way. All I could think of is, you groomed my mother.
And then like, I'd be afraid when I have children to bring my children around.
Mm-hmm. So oh, go ahead.
I feel like the parents of the mom, instead of kicking her out, should have been like, no, you're not dating him, and we're going to put you in some therapy. And then maybe she would have realized, wow, this is some grooming. And then
like, so
wouldn't
much
be alive.
Like, there's just, it's just so, especially when it's your own dad.
Yes.
When it's your dad, you hear about these things about people, but if it's actually happening with your father,
right,
that relationship is never going to be the same.
Right. Like people who are like the production of rape, that's different because you're not going to know, I'm assuming, that the vast majority of people aren't going to then know who their dad is because the mom's not going to be in the relationship with the dad. But this, like, how old did she say she was? 20 something?
She was, hang on. Like, when the daughter?
Currently, now, yeah.
The daughter is 22. Yeah.
Someone you've known for 22 years that you created a bond with that you just thought was a regular old guy. Like,
yeah.
That's from someone who, like, you were produced from a rape, and so you know your dad's a bad guy, and you never had a bond with him, and you grew up knowing that. Well, maybe you didn't grow up knowing that, but like,
mind blowing.
You get what I'm trying to say? I feel like I'm not being clear.
Yes.
But like,
No, I understand what you're trying to say. Like,
how
it's
dramatic.
wild. It changes your complete perspective about this person in a matter of seconds. So here's the update.
Sorry. And why would mom tell her? If I was the mom, which I would never, like, I can say I would never, but she's probably was abused before she was turned 15. He probably tried to make some moves on her before she turned 15, is my assumption. Like, why would her mom probably, I'm assuming if she still doesn't see it as abuse, think has romanticized it in her head. And so I guess that would be why maybe she was willing to tell her. But I was thinking, if I'm the mom, I wouldn't even admit it to my daughter because they're hiding it from other people. So she must like, feel some level of shame unless her husband has been like, oh, let's not tell people that.
No, I agree. It's like, if you're hiding that, like if you made up a story to tell other people, you know what happened when you were young wasn't necessarily good. Whether you think it's bad is a different story, but you know that there's a certain level where you're like, oh, I can't tell people this because they're going to think differently of my husband. Let's say she's trying to protect her husband. She's going to say, oh, people are going to think differently of my husband and they're going to accuse him of being something he's not when he is.
Or even like, maybe the mom doesn't see anything wrong with it because she was groomed and he obviously got into her head that, oh, this is okay, we're in love, blah, blah, blah. But he is a grown man when they first met. They are grown. He's a grown man. He knew that was wrong. So it's almost like he probably, I'm assuming, indoctrinated her into saying, oh, this is okay. Like, but saying, oh, but let's keep it a secret between us. Like, that's so romantic. Like, you know? I mean,
yeah. So the girl says, thank you to everyone who responded and gave me advice. Then she says, the first thing I did was have a talk with my mom. I waited until my dad left the house and we both sat down and had a really good talk. I asked her if she was safe, if she was happy, and if she felt loved and cared for in their relationship. She said she does. I asked her if, should things go wrong, she would have money and means to get out of the relationship. She does. I expressed concern about how their relationship started. She said she understood if I needed some time to process and that if I had any questions, she would answer them honestly. After my dad got home, I talked to him. I still am having trouble with the idea of him and who I found out he is. I don't think our relationship will ever be the same again, and he said he understood. I asked him to be honest with me and if he had any attraction towards small children or even teenagers. He said he doesn't. My mom was a kindred spirit sort of love. Last thing I did was give my uncle a call. He lives in a different country and we talked for a bit. He said I'm welcome to visit him anytime and I might take him up on it. He was there for my dad through the beginning of the relationship, so I'll get some outside perspective. As for my grandparents, I asked my mom about it and she said they had mended their relationship a couple of years before I was born. I don't have a lot of memories of them, but they always seemed very kind. I don't really have the emotional capacity to deal with them right now, so I will probably learn more in the future. Thank you to everyone who replied. Blah, 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 blah. Oh, it says, I don't think my relationship with my dad will ever heal, but ultimately we both love the same person, my mom, and that will keep us together. I also want to say that grooming is never okay and that I don't want my parents' story to be a quote unquote success story of a relationship between a grown adult and a teenager. And then they're like, to all the kids reading this, dating older people is never cool. Blah, blah, blah.
I definitely think she should talk to the uncle.
I definitely.
My perspective, but I also think the uncle should have pulled his brother aside when it started and be like, what the F are you doing?
It's like, I think about this every time there's a story about some like 20-year-old who's dating a 16-year-old. Literally the minute I turned, let's say 21, I was like, I could not even that. When I was 18, I was like, I can't imagine dating someone younger than me. Like I physically could not get over that. Like just mentally, I would feel so gross to myself for dating someone younger than me. And even like every year that goes by, I'm like, oh, they're literally a child.
Yes.
Like I just can't process it in my brain how someone could do that, you know?
And the fact, like, I'm happy the mom ended her relationship with her parents, but if I were the parents, I'd never be able to be around the husband. I'd be like pulling up on him, busting his kneecaps, because like really, like,
No, I agree.
What's your opinion? Forgive or forget?
I think we're both on the same page here. Definitely forget them.
My thing is forget the dad, but not the mom, because in my mind,
he's a victim here.
15, you still have 10 years for your brain to be fully developed. You
literally.
And at 15, a 15-year-old girl, at least for us, we fantasized everything. We romanticized everything. We had everything up, you know, like, oh, he glanced at me in the hallway. Oh, we're gonna get married, and like, oh, blah, blah, he must be in love with me, head over heels. So at 15, you cannot think straight. So she's definitely, I think she's a victim. She definitely is a victim.
No, literally.
So I don't think cut ties with the mom, but with the dad, I couldn't look at him the same. And my thing is, but then it's like, if you cut ties with the dad, you kind of also have to cut ties with the mom, because she's still standing up for him.
I think the mom just doesn't know that wasn't right. You know, like, I don't think she fully understands how gross it is from like people who are normal, because she obviously was manipulated by an older person into being in that relationship. She was groomed. So she doesn't understand why that relationship isn't wrong. Like, there's a reason why they hide how they met to friends and family, because she was 6 when he was 18 and they literally knew each other. Just because nothing happened between 6 and 14 does not make it okay.
Right, which I feel like something had to happen. That's just my opinion, but I don't know. And so I feel like that's why I feel like he's definitely the one who suggested that they change the story. But I don't know. It's a tough one.
Yeah, I mean, definitely forget the dad. Like, I could never forgive that man if he did that. Like,
and just like, because also forget him, because even if you could somehow forgive that, because the mom's okay with like accept it or whatever, I couldn't. But if you could, I would have to forget him for the sake of my children, that I would eventually, if I ever had any. Because how do I? Yeah, he said no, he doesn't have a sexual attraction to children or teens, but
who's gonna be honest about
admit that?
Who's literally gonna be like, yeah, I'm into children?
Yeah,
no one. And if they are, they're probably in jail right now.
Can confirm.
You for context, for the people who might not know, she literally works in a prison, so she knows. She talks to people who are in prison regularly. So yeah, that's just, it was so crazy to me, and I cannot believe people like that exist.
Okay, so we're 3 for and forget. Cold-hearted. Okay. My boyfriend of 2 years never told me he gave up 2 babies for adoption in high school. What should I do? I need some advice desperately. I've been with my boyfriend for 2 years now. Our anniversary was on Valentine's Day. He's a great guy, and every time we fought, it was about something unserious, and we would get over it quickly. Compared to my last relationship, where we were constantly bickering and even borderline abusive, this relationship is a complete 180. We are both child-free by choice. My reasonings are that I'm the oldest of 9 and raised all my siblings myself. My parenting days are long over, and I intend to live my life solely focused on me and my happiness. My boyfriend is child-free because he said he never wanted kids and never saw himself as a dad. He was the one to even initiate the topic, saying it was important that he not enter a relationship with someone that wanted kids, which I loved, since before him, every single guy I'd ever been with wanted children. So I just felt like I would have to compromise and have kids in order to experience that love. Last month, I found out he's been hiding something from me for weeks now. Well, I should say years, but weeks since it re-entered his life. He had started acting suspicious, hiding his phone screen and taking calls away and not being as close with me, and my anxiety got the best of me. I never imagined he would ever be cheating on me since I trusted him so much, but what my ex did to me had me spinning. One night, when he was grabbing something from the store, he left his laptop screen up. I went into his messages and saw that he had been speaking to someone named Ben, texting back and forth, which eased my nerves, but saw he had another group chat with Ben and a girl's name included. I looked through it and I felt like I was going crazy. They were calling him dad and updating them on their day. I was so confused and then scrolled into his separate conversation with Ben, and the very first message was him asking if this was the correct number from the email he got. Immediately, I went to his email and saw in his deleted folder that someone named Ben had messaged him saying he's 12 and he had just found out that my boyfriend is his and his twin sister's dad because their birth mom passed away and they traveled back home to their hometown for the funeral, and found out his name and found his email through my boyfriend's photography booking in his social media bio. I keep reading, but I was so confused and sick. We're only 29. How can he have 12-year-old children he never told me about, that he gave up for adoption at birth and never mentioned? He didn't even start acting weird when his ex passed, whom he never mentioned when we discussed our dating history, only when they emailed him. He'd come home, so I closed everything and didn't mention it, but throughout the past week, I've been going through his emails and texts, reading everything to get caught up. It seems like they want him to be in their lives and he's open to it, saying he wants to be in their lives as well and he loves them, and that sometime this year they'll meet if their adoptive parents are cool with it. Was he just planning to do this all behind my back? I want to confront him about it, but I'm scared of the outcome. I love him, but I can't believe he lied to me about not having kids and is now trying to be in their lives and not let me know. I feel evil for going through his personal things, which is how I found out, and I know it's technically the noble thing to let me start over that sentence. I feel evil for going through his personal things, which is how I found out, and I know it's technically the noble thing, but I don't know what to do. I don't want to ask him to choose between that relationship or me, but isn't it basically that? What should I do? How should I approach this? Breaking up is the last thing I want to do.
I have emotions.
What are your emotions?
I don't like OP.
No?
No. I don't like that she's like, I don't want him to choose between that relationship and me, but like, those are his children that he has now found out are his.
Mm-hmm.
And so I just think, first of all, so wait, did he willfully like not want those children, or he just didn't know?
Well, she hasn't talked to him, so from this post, she hasn't talked to him, so she's assuming he gave them up for adoption.
Okay. Well, even if he did, they're 12 years old, so he was like 17. And even if he did, it doesn't concern her, like that was his choice with whoever. If he really gave them up for adoption and the mother wasn't around, that was his choice. He knew he wasn't going to be able to take care of those children at the time. He was 17. So it doesn't concern her what he did with them or not, like I understand being upset that he hid it from her, that like after they contacted him, but being upset that he gave up children and he didn't want to have children and he put them up for adoption thinking that, oh, maybe they were going to be taken care of by someone else who is better suited for them. Like,
I think her thing is not that he had kids, it's that, and put him up for adoption, it's that he hid it from her. Like, yeah, that he initiated the conversation about having kids, and he said, I don't have kids, I never want kids. When technically, biologically, he does have kids. I can see her perspective being mad about that, because if I found out Brendan had kids, I'd be like, hello?
Yeah.
But again, we're married. So I would be assuming he would tell her before. And my thing is, she made plans, like very vague plans about meeting up with them. if you're gonna make those plans, I feel like you should have already told her.
Oh, I agree. Like, I don't think that part of it was correct. I thought she was also upset because he had children and like she didn't know about.
She might be, but from what I gathered, I feel like she's mostly upset that he hid it from her. And she's having to find out through snooping, which she shouldn't have snooped. She should have probably asked, like, "Hey, you've been kind of distant. Can you elaborate on that for me?"
Yeah, like I think because they reach out, that's when he needed to talk to her about that.
And then
because he could have easily. Oh, just to finish that thought up, I was going to say he could have easily continued to say, "Oh, I don't have children," because if he did give them up for adoption, they're not his, and he gave up his right to those children when he gave them up for adoption. So
I think it was also wrong for her it's been a week, she still hasn't talked to him about it, and she's still reading his stuff to get quote unquote caught up. No, when you realize that's his big secret, you should have confronted him and been like, not make a confrontation, but talk to him and been like, "So you have kids, huh?" Like, like
like brought it up,
and he can catch you up if he wants to. You're not gonna catch yourself up, because now it's a betrayal of his trust.
Exactly.
Like, you're kind of doing the same thing to him. You're hiding the fact that you know.
Yep. And like, it is, what if, so let's say he doesn't want to tell her yet, and what if he goes to meet his children and it doesn't work out? You know, there's a lot of stories where children meet up with their biological parents and they're like, "You know what, I could have gone without meeting them." So what if that happens? You know, what is the point? Then he's like, "You know what, I can't even do anything about that." What if those children hold resentment against him? You know, like, what if he doesn't end up having a relationship with those children? Now, not only do you know that he had children, now he's got to talk about the fact that he did meet up with the children don't want him, like, you know, or, you know, whatever would have happened. What if it didn't go the way they planned? Like,
and he said, sometime this year they'll meet up if their adoptive parents are cool with it. So they haven't even talked to it sounds like, adoptive parents about it. So what if the adoptive parents are like, "No, you're not going to go meet your dad"? So then it was pointless. Like, she wouldn't really need to know. Do I think eventually he should tell her? Yes, because especially if they're going to get married or something, I wouldn't want to go into a marriage not knowing something, because that's kind of big, I think, even if you're not in the person's relationship.
No, I agree.
In the children's lives.
I agree.
And then for her to say, "I don't want to ask him to choose between this relationship or me, but isn't it basically that?" No, it's not, because he can have a relationship with, he's not he's the father to those kids, but he's not the dad. He contributed genetic material, but he didn't raise them. So even if he has a relationship with them, it's not going to be a true, in my opinion, father, daughter, son relationship. It's going to be, it will still be their dad,
because it's going to start out like they don't know anything about each other. You know, they're going to start out as strangers.
It's
maybe he'll treat them as his children later on and be like, "You know what, like, I want to have a good relationship with you." But at this stage where they're at, none of them know barely anything about each other. Their adoptive parents don't know. He hasn't told his wife. No one knows what is happening right now. Like, no one knows.
And my thing is, even if they decide they want to have a relationship, they have adoptive parents. It's not like the kids are suddenly going to come and be living with you, or like, you're not suddenly going to be like a stepmom.
Yeah, I think she is, first of all, like, going too far into it and being like, it's that relationship or mine. And
she's
no,
making it too big of a deal without talking to him first. You don't know what he's thinking. You're assuming you know. And my thing
Yep.
is, my opinion, there's no update, sorry.
Is what?
There's no
Oh.
update, sorry. Is that you should have a conversation with them and you should forgive him. You should forgive.
Yeah. I completely agree on forgive. Like, that's something, it's not easy. No one is going to be shouting from the rooftops, I gave up 2 of my children, you know? Like, no one is going to be doing that and being super proud of. So when he's ready, he'll tell you. And second of all, this is another thing that, just to finish it up, but like, there are things where you don't know where they're going yet, so you don't tell anyone that it's happening behind the scenes. Like, after the fact, you can tell them. Like, I know there's things where I'm like, oh, I don't want to get too excited about this, so I'm not going to tell anyone like what's happening. And then if I get good news, I'll be like, oh, hey,
even me,
like, this is
not even gonna tell me about the process.
No, I'll tell you, but you're my best friend.
All of it.
But like, again, I've never had anything that's like so serious to the point where I'm like, oh, I can't even tell my best friend. You know, if it were like, if I dropped a bomb on you and I was like, yeah, I actually have a child, you'd be like, you know, that's not something that you can just tell someone, no matter how close you are, easily. So I think she's going too far right now.
I'd be like, when did you have the time to have a child? Because I saw you every day in high school. I've seen you several times over the years since high school, and never once did you look pregnant. Someone commented, have the twins' actual parents consented to any of this contact between the bio dad and their children? And OP actually said yes, he speaks to them too. They're excited he's in their life since he was involved in the adoption process. So he has talked to him. So then I do lean more toward he probably should have told her.
Yeah.
If it's more of a sure thing that they're gonna
yeah. I think you also kind of have to give him the benefit of the doubt first. Like, first of all, she snooped, so she already knows that they're probably going to meet up. But what if after they meet up, he talks to you and he's like, you know what? I went and I have children and I met up with them today. You know, like, she's assuming that he's not going to tell her ever.
Yep.
And I think, first of all, I mean, this is my philosophy when it comes to things. Like, you have to give them the benefit of the doubt first. And then if they don't prove themselves to you, like to what you are expecting of a good person to do, then at that point, like, either way, I still disagree with snooping through his messages. But even then, at that point, you can say, you know, I know you have children. And I wish you would, like, that's when you can have a long conversation of like, oh, I wish you had been honest with me.
And someone said, I have a 16-year-old son I placed for adoption in high school. It's impossible for me to explain how complicated the feelings surrounding the whole situation are. Lots of people told me what a monster I was for the first few years, so I stopped telling people. Now I try to talk about it because I know what happened to other people too. I think asking him why he's been being weird before you spend a bunch of time invading his privacy would have been a better move. But now the cat's out of the bag and you might as well talk about it. Be open-minded and compassionate. This is no doubt an extremely emotionally turbulent situation for him, and you coming at him sideways about it isn't going to help either of you. That's very true.
Yeah, I agree. So, bottom line, our verdict, forgive him.
Forgive him.
World.
Now, he might need to forget her, but we're only talking about
right, but this is that situation. You know, if there's a countersuit, then we'll have our verdict on that one.
Exactly.
All right, so the title says, genuine change to save relationship or enough is enough. It says, I, 24 female, and my boyfriend, 24 male, have been together for a bit over 2 years. Friends with benefits for a year before that. We're both pretty independent people, but he does love his self-time a lot more than I do. We hang out 1 to 2 times a week. I've gotten accustomed to his boundary of self-time and hobbies, but lately I've been overseeing that my needs, quality time, / wants, simple like bike riding, drive-in theater, kayaking, gym together, haven't been met. If anything, it's been pushed out. I took a step back and jotted down his behaviors in the past 2 years. He values his self-time more than our quality time, is unwilling to do hobbies that I want to do, doesn't plan or do anything special for myself or us, still says white lies, hysterically laughs over immature things, doesn't think about our future, is very impulsive with big purchases, etc. Listen, I skimmed this beforehand. I did not read any of that. Seems like there's a lot of negatives so far.
But also laughing at immature things. I sometimes laugh when I fart still.
No, literally, like, but I have gone out of my way to plan dates or future adventures that mainly get shot down because he cancels last minute, find hobbies we both like, pick up on hobbies only he likes, etc., just to spend time with him as much as I can. I've mentioned my desire to want him to put in effort for our quality time more. Okay, sorry, that confused me. I mentioned my desire to want him to put in effort for our quality time more and plenty in the past. He'll argue back the next day, say I'm right, then do minimal to nothing about it. Then the cycle starts over. However, these last few weeks, I've become more confident and stern with asking for the same thing I have been, and that serious conversation turned into calling me crazy, overwhelming, and asking for too much. He got really frustrated, raised his voice the entire time, and said he wouldn't change his priorities or ways because he's not, quote unquote, an emotional guy to do those types of things for me. Next day, he said I was right and says he realizes what's at stake and that he wants to fix it. He's been planning some dates and events coming up and actually going through with it because he says he wants a future with me. But how do I know it's genuine? How long am I supposed to give him? I feel emotionally and mentally drained/checked out, especially after his initial and harsh reaction to my last serious conversation. I feel like over 2 years is plenty to get someone to change. And I also feel like I shouldn't have had to ask so many times for him to change. He should just want to do those things naturally, right? I look at the bigger picture and don't think he's a bad guy or I'm a bad girl or that either of us are asking for too much. Just more so, our personalities aren't meant to be together. I feel like I've been ready to be at the next stage where he's now finally starting to realize the steps to even get to the next stage and hasn't started. Any thoughts?
Forgive him. I mean, like, what?
Mm-hmm. There is an
it
update,
seems like they're not compatible in the least.
I don't think so either. Like, he's just not. First of all, not only has she talked about it for years, but like he's still not willing to do anything for her. Not willing. Like, there's no compromising. It's everything about him and nothing about her. Also, the fact that he doesn't even plan for like their future, like.
And calling her crazy because she wants quality time.
Like, what in the world?
And then to switch it back the next day and be like, oh, no, you're right, you're right.
It's like, no, you're right, you're right. Like, no, she needs someone who actually cares about her enough to make the changes.
And I think these temporary changes of him following through with the plans they makes is a facade. It's a facade.
I agree.
If she gives him a chance, it's in a few months, it's going to go right back to how it was. Unless he realizes, wow, I actually like spending time with my girlfriend. But it's like a little too late. It's been 2 years?
2 years. She said it's been 2 years and she's friends with benefits for a year before that. So really 3, but 2 when they were actually like committed and dating.
It almost feels like it's still the friends with benefits situation.
Yeah, exactly. It's like exactly. And he says, the part that made me angry was he was like, he wouldn't change his priorities or ways because he's not an emotional guy to do those types of things for her. Like, what spending time with your girlfriend does not mean you are an emotional guy.
Yes, like hiking. Oh wow, it gets me. I just want to bawl when I'm just like,
you know, I'm in tears when we go to the gym.
I mean, I do, but for different reasons. So like
what?
Oh my god. And so he literally told you, OP, he literally told you, I'm not a guy to change my priorities for you. Listen to that. Listen to that.
He is literally saying, you are not a priority to me.
Yep. Yep.
Literally.
Oh,
And the update, I love that all of these had updates because I love when they spill.
Not me though. Not mine.
She said,
it should be like a requirement on Reddit that if you post,
no, literally,
you have to post them. You have to.
Literally. Even if there's not much to give, let us know that you tried something. Yep. If you're on an advice subreddit, test out the advice.
Exactly.
All right. So she said, I found out on our vacation we took to try for us again to relight the spark. I shouldn't have snooped, but I did. Oh, wait, what?
I'm suspicious.
Oh, the title. My 24 male boyfriend has been cheating on me, 24 female, for the past year. Explains his.
That makes sense.
I found out on our vacation we took to try for us again to relight the spark. I shouldn't have snooped, but I did. First time in 2.5 years have I ever looked at his phone due to me trusting and him being very insecure about it. And had I not done so, he would have married me and taken this to his grave. Guaranteed. Completely blindsided, but in hindsight, I can see the...
Wait, is this the same story? This is the update?
This is the update for that same story. And sorry, I got excited because there is an edit like under this same post that I looked at and it says confrontation day. Girl, I don't think I ever had a post where there's a confrontation. I don't know why my eyes darted down, but I'm excited. Not us literally caring about these more than our own lives. All right, so it says, completely blindsided, but in hindsight, I can see the red flags that were covered by huge amounts of trust and hope I gave. Shame on me. His overly selfish need for absurd amounts of quote unquote alone time was really to talk to his other girls. His commitment issues to saving up for a forever home with me was really because he was spending money to buy them jewelry, clothes, shoes, vacation trips, etc. He verbally
take the time to go hike with her.
Literally.
He didn't buy her
it's free.
Buying all these side chicks expensive things, but not even her. His actual girlfriend is thinking,
it's free. It's free to go hiking. Like if you go to the gym together, you probably already have a membership. You're not paying anything extra for it. Anyway, it says he verbally and emotionally supported their hobbies more than me and mine. He even told them he loved them. I suppose I knew this was what I needed to validate the void of love I felt was missing. I don't know why it had to be this way, but I'm thankful this closed my chapter now rather than later. He doesn't know I know yet. I plan to confront and then ghost him tomorrow. If I can say anything, please remember, do not ever settle for anything less than you deserve. You shouldn't have to change someone or tell them how to treat you. If they love you, they will do so willingly. Can't wait to move on tomorrow.
Move on today, sis. Move on today.
The confrontation day. Okay, she's thanking people for the support. I know, I'm like, blah, let's get through it. She said, many of you asked for an update on the confrontation that occurred yesterday. I can tell you it was more difficult than I expected, but I am free now. Apologies in advance for the length. Girl, I do not care. We met at the first place we ever met at to grab food, public area, and I had a family member watch from the parking lot. Thank you for the safety advice. So I'm assuming someone in the comments was like, make sure you have someone.
Yeah, girl, if you ever break up with someone, let me watch.
Girl, I'll get
an earpiece. We'll give me some binoculars. I'll tell them you hate them. That's gonna be me and you.
Like this.
It's gonna be me in your ear. Tell them you hate them now. Tell them I never treat you like this.
It's like I have a mic on me and you're just listening in.
Now throw the water in his face.
Stop. Oh god, not this moving again. Okay, so it says, I've got to find my place. So yeah, he knew we were going to talk about us and our relationship considering the month of him trying was over, but didn't know about the cheating aspect. I slowly started the conversation to reflect back on our vacation and how it went, then proceeded to talk about our entire relationship, asking him if he ever felt like I didn't meet his expectations, if there were voids I didn't fill, if I could have provided more, etc. His response was, no, you always tried for my hobbies, my needs and wants, and I always respected that. I then reminded him that I had a void it felt needed to be filled. I talked about how I thought it was for him to travel more with me or to do hobbies I like to do, spend quality time. But I said I realized the void was true and sincere love. He questioned it. Confrontation started. I told him he wouldn't have messaged those girls, sent them money, bought them materialistic items, told them he loved them, etc., if he truly loved me and if I had filled his needs or wants. He was taken aback, completely blindsided like he did to me for the past year. He asked how I knew this, expected I was prepared per your guys' advice. Told him it didn't
deny it. He didn't even deny it.
Literally. Told him it didn't matter. He pressured. I was upfront and told him I looked through his phone on Sunday, but that he had no right to be mad over that right now. He proceeded to tell me, quote, it wasn't my fault. She was the one who lured me in and I felt like I had to provide for her. She's the one who kept contacting me. We never did anything physical, so it doesn't matter, mean anything, end quote. I called him on his bullshit. Then he had a panic attack and I lost control of my strength and courage for further confrontation. I felt for him. I don't know why. I suppose the caring nature in me just worried for him. We gave it time to calm down until I realized he truly still only cares about himself. A few things he mentions right after his panic attack were, everyone's going to hate me. I'm going to lose all my friends. I can't live in the city anymore. People are going to think I'm a bad person. I don't know what to do. I don't know why I did it when I had it all with you. I just love the attention I get from these girls. I love the attention. And he said this about 10 times. His actions were very strange and confused me, but I think I need to realize it's attempt of manipulation. He said he was going to block / unfollow / delete me from everything and did so right in front of me. He told me multiple times that he bought a ring to propose to me soon. He asked if I never found this out, would we have worked through our issues? He said he would have told me about the girls before proposing next year or when we were married and assumed I'd stay. He asked if we could remain friends and talk still. He apologized with just, quote unquote, I'm sorry. Nothing specific for what he was sorry for, didn't acknowledge that I deserved better, but admitted he was a monster and lost something great. We agreed he would tell his family and I would tell mine. I just strongly stated he needs to be truthful so they know and so he can learn from it if he chooses to. I told him I'm moving forward with no contact with him whatsoever. I'm free now. It wasn't easy doing this face to face, but I feel like it needed to happen. It's now time to reflect on this experience and look for better days to come and keep my strength high during this next phase. Thank you to everyone again for your support and encouragement. It's helped tremendously.
The audacity he has. She's like, I thought we would work it out when I told you right before we got married.
Literally. It's like,
you know
that
what?
is what you do when you know you can walk all over someone.
Yep. And you know what? You're right. You are going to lose all your friends. And you are a horrible person. I mean, they're going to think it because it's right.
Literally. Like, it's like, of course they're going to think that when you do shitty things to good people.
For him to say nothing happened physically, it had to. For him to only be seeing you 2 nights a week, 2 days a week. Come on. He has all the time in the world to do other things.
Exactly. And if he's buying them stuff and taking them on trips.
Yeah, nope.
You're going to tell me all they did was flirt on those trips? Sounds funny.
Forget him. And,
Forget him. 100%.
And call back from one of our other Reddit story reading ones. Cast him into the sea.
Cast him into the sea. Sincerely. Yep. Cast him into the depths of the sea. Yep. Wherever all those hidden dinosaurs are, throw him in there.
Yep. Okay, we have one last story. And so really, I was going to say we're 4 for 1. Or how many have we read? 5 now? 5 to 1. For
forget him.
But really, that one that we said forgive was an underlying forget for the for the guy.
Well, from her, remember, it's from her perspective. Yes, so forget.
Get a true forgive. I doubt it. But okay, you can pick from the 3 I have. I think my girlfriend has been trying to get me fired from all my jobs. I'm shaken. Please help me.
Oh my God. I'm sorry, but the way you were like, I'm shaken. Please help me.
My boyfriend, the next one, my boyfriend would probably leave if something bad happened to me. And 3, my closest best friend is spending the weekend with my abusive ex-boyfriend.
I'm in between the first and third one. Like, those are very compelling to me. So I would say choose either one of those.
No, you get to choose, ma'am.
Okay, so what was the first one again?
I think my girlfriend has been trying to get me fired from all my jobs. My closest best friend is spending the weekend with my abusive ex-boyfriend.
I'm shaking.
And that one, yeah, that one's too long. So I feel like we should probably do the fired one. Plus, there's I almost said a twigger warning.
Just alone for I'm shaking. Please help me. Or I'm
I said
shaking.
a twigger warning. It's a trigger warning.
Triggering.
A trigger warning.
A Twitter warning.
Now, what's up, that little kid? A twiggle warning. That's how little toddlers talk. Twiggle.
Not a twiggle warning.
Okay. I think my girlfriend has been trying to get me fired from all my jobs. I'm shaking. Please help.
It's like, no matter how many times you say that title, it just makes me laugh every time. This guy is literally pleading for help, and I'm over here like laughing at it.
I'm shaking. Please help.
He's literally like, please help me. I'm desperate.
Okay. I'm male 24, and I've been with GF, female 29, let's call her Janice, for 2.5 years. I just finished my education when we started dating, and I've been doing all sorts of jobs since, sometimes 2 at a time. I did this to expand my resume and gather job experience. I worked in cafes, bookstores, a library, a grocery store, and as an English tutor. Most of those jobs lasted about 3 to 5 months. My shortest stay was 2.5 weeks, my longest 8 months. But since I didn't have a hard time applying for new positions, I tried to block it out. That was kind of eating me up internally. People called to complain about me. People left bad reviews about me. People used my employee Wi-Fi access to look up sketchy things on the internet under my name. Former quote employees called to inform them about me, right name and all, and much more subtle stuff that I couldn't disprove. But I was too anxious to do anything about it. I just told my girlfriend, she comforted me, and she supported me every time I got my life ruined by these people. But I kept going, though they kept finding me. Fast forward to this week, I currently hold a part-time position at a bakery. I've been working there for 2.5 months. Sorry. It's going okay, but my manager approached me about something regarding our Google reviews. Someone was complaining about an employee, and their description of them could only really fit me. It was on a day when we were pretty short of staff, so I could have been the only person in the store on that day for all I know. Anyway, their review contained some pretty elaborate and nasty comments about me. This has happened on 1 or 2 of my jobs already. I told my manager that it was all pretty bogus and that someone had a vendetta against me, as it has happened before. She believed me and told me that she'll dismiss the comment. On my break, I checked out the review myself. The username was kind of stupid. I'm not going to type it out here since I still work there, but I'll just call them Mike Myrtle, as it was in the same range of sounds, kind of fake, but not really. Anyway, I come home, but don't tell Janice about it. She's heard it all before, so I don't see the point in complaining about it. Another time, I almost lost my position. We chat, all is well, and she leaves the room. Her phone is on the table, and suddenly she gets a notification or an email of some sort from Google. I don't remember what it said exactly, but the pop-up read something along the lines of, Nick Myrtle, manager, has responded to your review. My heart dropped. I've been trying to ignore it since. This was 2 days ago. It just fit in the picture of bad reviews. It fits in the picture of the phoned complaints my workplace has received about me in the past. It fits in the picture of all the sketchy things I've been fired for. Why would she do that, though? I'm looking for an explanation. This literally can't be. She's the only thing keeping me sane. I don't know what to do.
I understand why he's shaken and why he's asking for help. We'll start there. I think if he truly, honestly, that email is really like proof that she's the one, because he said, I think she's trying to get me fired from those jobs, but like, I think at this point that she's been trying to get you fired from those jobs. Second of all, I would say if you were to confront her, like, I just don't know what she could say that's like that would justify that. Like, there's nothing.
Ridiculous. It's so ridiculous. Like, I want to know what the comments say.
No, same. Like, why? But why would you ever do that to your partner? Like, why would you try and get them fired from their job?
And then for her to comfort him and be like, it's okay.
It's like when you're the one doing it, oh my God. And then my thought was, because before it was like, oh, there's an email where it's like pretty sure it's her because it was on the phone. If you really wanted to, you could be like, oh, you know what, I got fired, and say that you got a job like somewhere else, you know. Like I had this job lined up just in case this person tried to do it again. And your job, if they do it again, you know it's her, because that's the only person who would know that, like, oh,
so smart. That's so smart. You
know, like, try and do that just to confirm that it's her. But honestly, that email for me would be proof enough that to confront her and be like, I saw this review that was talking shit about me, and I saw a notification pop up on your phone that has the same name. Like, what? Is there no update for that one? Because
there is, but the comments took it way heavier than we did.
Oh.
Like, this is extreme manipulation and abuse. I feel sick to my stomach thinking about you having gone through this for years, losing job after job and being devastated. The worst is you confiding in her and her knowing exactly what she did to you. I really don't understand how anyone could do this to someone they quote love. Please, OP, for your sake, you need to leave this relationship. So a lot of people are saying she's a narcissist. This is abuse. So I thought it was a little more lighthearted than that, but
yeah, same. I was like,
mine shines more light.
I don't think I would have immediately gone there. I mean, I didn't immediately go there with this. I was just like, she's just kind of, something is not right there.
She could be keeping it, like, so he has to depend on her, or like, yeah, okay, the update. First of all, we broke up. That's why I'm referring to her as my ex from now on. Anyways, let's start from the beginning. On the Monday of the following week, I couldn't take this uncertainty anymore. Wait, before I read this, what is your initial opinion? Forgive or forget?
Forget. Like, 100% forget.
I told my ex I needed her booking account to book a train ticket to visit my dad for a few days. She complied, and when she was in the shower getting ready for work, I booked my ticket and started looking through her emails. After some digging, I found an email to herself which contained a spreadsheet file. I sent the file to myself, printed it out, and took a screenshot. Why? The spreadsheet contained about every single information about me that there was. Numbers, emails, passwords, work times, colleagues, their numbers, and social medias, as well as some emails and passwords that she used for accounts to ruin my life with. Everything was on there. It was on there, conveniently sorted for her to ruin my life as efficiently as possible. When she left for work, I decided it would be best to immediately pack my stuff. Nothing that mattered would be left behind. I felt like a wanted man, like I was being hunted despite nothing being seemingly out of place. I called my boss, told her I'd be taking some time off from work, and headed out to see my dad. Needless to say, he was the sanity I needed. I cried about everything I saw. I panicked for a whole 2 days straight and about how my life was ruined and didn't know what to do. He had to sleep on the couch in the guest room because I was so scared of my ex coming in. He handled it like a champ. I love my dad. He called the police, a lawyer, and most recently a therapist for me because I was in the most horrible state of my entire life. We're currently sorting out the legal stuff. I haven't talked to my ex, except for letting her know it was over and that she's a sick psychopath. My dad handled the rest. Changed all my passwords, and I'm now looking for a place to live. Sorry for the brief update. My mind is tangled. Please ask questions if you want to know more. Okay, definitely forget. And file restraining order.
No, you don't think you should forgive her after that?
File a restraining order immediately.
No, literally.
But what a king, his dad.
No, literally, the dad pop off, sir. Like, oh my God. Nothing in my mind could have prepared me for her having a spreadsheet with everything about him on it. Like, what in the world?
She definitely had that's a woo. Yeah. So what a note to leave this podcast.
I don't even know if that's a note. That is
An entire song.
Literally.
Guys?
That is a whole Broadway musical. That was 3 hours long within like a span of 5 minutes.
Right. Well, guys, check all the spreadsheets that your partner has on their computer. No, don't actually, but like maybe
like,
do.
No, literally. If you hear the story,
his colleagues' phone numbers and social medias, what's the point of that?
I have no idea. Well, I guess to know like who everyone is and to know if something happens, you can contact them, but that's so creepy.
Ooh.
It's like, I was literally gonna say, like, if you're listening to this and this sounds familiar, get out of there now.
Yeah, if you
spreadsheet
losing job after job after job,
a random person keeps making bad reviews about you under the name Mike Myrtle.
Maybe get out of there.
No, maybe it's time to break up with them. What in the world?
People be wild down there.
No, for real. Like, could you?
Makes for a great story, though.
Baffled. No, for real. That is like an icebreaker if I've ever heard one about crazy exes. Like, you know, I used to have an ex that like literally had a spreadsheet about every single person I interacted with and every
she was
fact
using to slowly ruin my life.
Like, I just want to know what the point of that was for her. Like,
he did reply to someone when they commented, like, I already closed it, but I read and they're like, did she have an excuse? And he said she did, but I have yet to read the mountain of text that she sent me. Which I'm like, you should have read it. But
I know, I want to know why she
I
did.
know. Let him live his life. He's been through a lot.
Yeah, but it's
so
still...
so his the drama of his title made sense. I'm shaking.
No, I'm shaking, please.
You're in danger, sir. You're not just shaking.
It's like, that's literally, we are beyond the like feeling shaken. Like, this is, I am quaking, I am quivering, I am every single thing.
Every single ing.
Every single ing. Like, what?
Yeah. Wow. Okay.
What a great story. Not for him, but
and not for him. He got out, yay, but great
for us.
Maybe not for her either. She might be going to prison.
Oh no, I know.
They do something without
she went to jail.
Okay.
I don't think anything criminal actually happened, though. I would say it's
how did she get his account information and his password stuff?
Oh, I mean, if
I don't know, I'm not a lawyer. I don't know the rules.
Can whoever was the lawyer for this man reach out to us and tell us what happened with this case, please?
Please.
Please. All right, well, do you want to end it?
Yeah, we gotta end it. Oh, you want me to do the outro?
I just asked, do you want to end it?
Just in general. Okay. Thanks everybody for listening. I hope you had a marvelous listen, that we made you laugh, we made you cringe, we made you question your partner maybe, question your life. Maybe we made some of you realize, I need to get out of this relationship. I need to forget person, not forgive them. But thank you so much for listening. Make sure that you check us out on TikTok and YouTube. Leave us a comment or send us an email. Maybe you have a crazy experience like this one you want to tell us about, and for us to react to it on the next episode. We'd love to hear from y'all. Thank you for all your
if you reach out, make sure you give us every detail. I'm tired of having unanswered questions.
Yes, make it so long that the entire episode is that one.
Yes.
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 And if we feel there are holes, we will be emailing you back with questions.
No, literally. We send like 30 emails in a row.
Okay, guys. We'll see you next week.
Bye.